Hello and welcome to another episode of The Daily Breakthrough. I am your host, Kwame Kuadey. If you are new to this channel, well, this podcast is dedicated to providing you with the tools, resources, insights, and tips to help you crush the day. Now, regardless of what is going on in your life right now, winning the day is the way to get out of that situation and move the ball forward and make progress so that you can get to the other side of what you're trying to build. So my whole podcast is dedicated to going on that journey with you and helping you win each day so that you can overall get to where you're trying to go. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, I want to urge you to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. So, what is today's episode about? Well, the title of today's episode is Delay is Not Punishment. A lot of the times, we tend to think that if God is taking so long to get us through a particular situation that we're in, that is punishment. Well, I'm here to tell you that not only delay is not punishment, delay is also not denial. So you have to stay in the ring. You have to stay in the game because God's timing is the best. And you're going to look back a few years from now and realize that when God pulled you out of the situation, He did it at the perfect time because that was the time it needed to happen for reasons that you're going to find out later. So today, I want to give you 4 things to think about and 4 ideas on why, in my experience, delay is never punishment. So the first one is that delay is preparation, which is the title of a book that I should write. Delay is preparation. Why is that? When you're going through adversity, when God allows something to happen, when He allows adversity in your life and allows you to go through an experience that is not pleasant, it is preparing you for something. God does not waste adversity. Every adversity He allows in your life has a purpose and is preparing you for something. Sometimes it's preparing you for what you asked for. You may have asked God for something and over again, and He's like, okay, finally, all right, if that's what you want, let me show you what you need to be, who you need to be, and what you need to do to be able to receive that blessing or that thing that you've been asking me for. So now He's putting you through the preparation period to test whether you are ready, whether you got what it takes to get you ready so that the thing that you want, the thing that you ask for, you'll be ready to receive it and that you're not going to be destroyed by it. So, whatever season you're in may be preparation for what you ask for. Sometimes it's preparation for where God wants you to go. Left to your own devices, you'll be sitting where you are in mediocrity or doing something that does not align with God's purpose for your life. And so God puts you in discomfort, shakes the tree, shakes your life, creates turmoil to let you finally let go of that thing and begin on the path of where He wants to take you. And the path that God wants to take you also requires some things that you have to learn, some skills you have to gain, some experiences that you need. You need to become the person that will be ready to step into that purpose that God has for you. And so if everything is dragging on, if everything is taking longer than you thought it should take, if this season of your life has been the worst and you're like, oh my God, when is it going to end? God is preparing you for where He wants you to go. And rather than sitting there and be frustrated by how long it's taking, let me give you a tip on how to navigate that season. I have been through it this year, 2023. that has been my story. God is taking me somewhere. I have surrendered to it because I was on a particular path. Things were great. And then God stirred up everything and got my attention and clarified for me where He wants me to go. And I've been on that path. And it's been long, it's been arduous, but I 100% believe and 100% receive and 100% completely embrace that that was the right path. And that where I was before was not serving me, was not allowing me to live my potential that I know I have, that I've been hiding from. And God is now pushing me and putting me in discomfort to accelerate my growth to be able to lead into my purpose. So it's been going on the whole year. And sometimes I think to myself, just when I think, okay, that I can see the light of the end of the tunnel, God would just snatch it. And so this is what I do when my hope is in relief and the relief doesn't come. Then I go and ask myself, okay, what is God trying to push me to learn? What haven't I done? What is the direction He wants me to go? What is the thing He wants me to work on while He's delaying my arrival? While He's delaying this season of adversity? What is the thing that I have been avoiding? What is the thing that has been obvious to me? And through discernment and prayer, God will reveal it to me. And the moment I start working on that thing, He opens another door to help me to continue to survive this season of discomfort while I grow into the thing that He's pointed me to. So whenever you feel confused or you see the light out of the tunnel or you are not seeing the light out of the tunnel, you're like, okay, God, why is this so taking so long? Think about what you're avoiding. Think about the thing that God may be pointing you to. Go do that thing. If it's not the thing He wants you to do, He will tell you. If it's the thing that He wants you to do, He will open doors to help you get through this season while you work on that thing. That has been my experience, and I believe it 100%, and nobody can make me doubt that. So that's number one. Number two, you're not ready. Delay is not punishment, but you're not ready. You're not ready because there are things that God wants you to experience to be ready for the next stage or for what you asked for. Your current environment, your current mindset, who you are today is not going to be able to handle where God is taking you. So He's going to drag this on until you become who He wants you to be in preparation for where He's taking you. So that's number two. You're not ready. And you have to trust that God is molding you through this adversity, is letting you acquire resilience. It's letting you acquire experiences. It's letting you acquire skills and knowledge and perspective that is going to serve you well in the next stage that He's taking you. Number three, sometimes God is delaying everything to force you to practice a virtue or virtues. Maybe in the previous season of abundance, you were a completely different person. And so now God is trying to help you practice some virtues. Patience, for example. Maybe you've been very impatient. Or God needs you to learn how to be patient for the future. You don't know what is in your path that you're going to need that patience for. Or maybe God is making you learn empathy. That has been my lesson a few years ago when God put me through the ringer in one season of my life where He was trying to elevate me to another level. Things were so bad, I had to drive Uber for about 6 months. And during that season of driving Uber, I learned so much about empathy for people who drive Uber. Like every time I get into an Uber now, I have such a respect for Uber drivers because I've been through it. I understand how hard the work is and how little you make, and how sometimes people are not nice. And so I want to be the model passenger because I know what it's like to do that job. Or God may have taken you through some seasons where, you know, for instance, have you been through a season where you're driving a car that you're afraid could break down any moment from now? And then you compare that to the time where you have a car that is solid, is brand new or close to new, and the difference between that, sometimes God puts you through things so that you can empathize with others. Sometimes it's love, so that can you love through adversity? Can you appreciate? Maybe you've taken people around you for granted, and God wants you to practice that virtue of love. Whatever it is, sometimes the delay is not punishment, but it's training you to practice a virtue that God thinks you're going to need for the future. And then lastly, perhaps this season is supposed to teach you a lesson that you haven't learned yet. And that lesson is going to stay, that adversity, that challenge is going to stay until you learn that lesson. And when you learn that lesson, it will move on and be replaced in the future by another challenge. Maybe you've been repeating this mistake for a while, and now God wants you to learn the lesson. But sometimes delay is about allowing you to learn the lesson because that lesson is a foundation for the future. And you cannot take this deficiency or this problem or this issue or this defect to the future because it's going to cost you more. In the next season, the price of whatever it is that God wants you to learn, if you take that mistake and make it again in the future, the price may be more or maybe greater or will ruin you. So God is allowing you to go through pressure now so that you can learn that lesson and move on. So believe that delay is not punishment. Delay is not denial. However, delay is preparation. Delay is getting you to get to a point where you can handle what God wants you to have. Is to practice a virtue and is to learn a lesson that is going to be important and critical for the future. So, these are my experiences about why I believe that delay is not punishment. And I've come to appreciate and be patient that God's time is the best. And whatever He has for me, if He's allowed me to go through this season of adversity and dragged it on this long, He has a reason why. And not only that, He's going to make a way for me to be able to survive. If I keep faith and I trust Him in prayer and obligation and make sure that I'm tithing, I am putting Him to the test, that He will make a way. And when I am ready, when He thinks I'm ready, He will put me and elevate me to the purpose that He has for me. In the meantime, I'll continue trusting. I'll continue doing my part. I'll continue to be discernment, lean into my discernment and my faith and push forward. So that is what I have for today. So until the next time, keep pushing forward.